This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Is the man, the myth, the legend. Make sure you also subscribe to FloridaHockeyNow.com. It is a must. If you're a Panthers fan, you must subscribe, just like you must catch them here every week. George and David doing their thing here with the lockdown segment. It's a beautiful thing. All right, so George, is Bob the backup?
No.
Okay.
No.
Walk us through. So
goal.
is it just injury? Is it just rest? Is it a little bit of
Maybe a
both?
little bit of both.
Okay,
Maybe
because
a
we're
little
watching a lot of night every single night.
Well, I mean, that was a road trip. I mean, since I know, no, Sergei Bobrovsky's still your starter, but listen, they don't want to ride him into this. You look at how Columbus used him in the past. He would play 31 out of 32 games, down the stretch because they needed to get in by a point.
Grant Fuhr, remember Grant Fuhr, wouldn't miss a game in 87
different world,
years.
but yes, yeah. I mean, no. So Bob will be fine. Just they'll let him play. I would think they get him back into a rhythm. If I had to guess how the Panthers are doing this, when you look at the last 2 weeks of the season, I think you'll see. Let's say there's 6 games. I think you'll see Bob play 5 of those 6. Let Knight get 1.
Oh, wow!
And then
I thought it would be on off. Wow, 5 of 6 is really heavy work to get him in. I guess they want to get him really.
You want him you want to get him into a rhythm, into a flow, going into the playoffs where you're going to be playing every other night, and maybe you'll have a back-to-back. Game 6 and 7 could be a back-to-back.
Right. So you kind of want to put him in that groove already, where he has to, kind of have that mindset that he's going to be playing. Okay. All right.
Game, practice game. That's how it goes in the playoffs. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was laughing because there was a headline that says, "Well, our first loss in the Giroux era," and I was like, "Wow, are we supposed to win all the games in the Giroux era here?" I mean, all of a sudden,
20-0, maybe 20-0.
Yeah, he has played well, man. He has looked good.
Yeah, he's been good. I mean, I think people, when you look at a guy like Claude Giroux, and I'm sure that we're a little guilty of that ourselves. Yeah, he's going to come in here 20 games. He's going to have 15 goals, 15 assists, and 30 points in 20 games. Very rarely do you get that at a trade deadline. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you get that. Just wow, caught fire. Frank Vatrano right now is on that kind of pace for the New York Rangers, ironically enough. But he's playing really well. It looks like he and Barkov and Verhaeghe are really flowing. You look at that power play; it hasn't gotten the results, but my goodness, are they getting chances after chance after chance? That puck's going to start going in. So I would think for those guys only being together for a week and 3 games and a week with very little practice time, I think that they've looked pretty good.
Have you heard? I don't know if they share this stuff with you. Anything on Ekblad, how he's doing?
No, I mean, and they won't until we see Ekblad ourselves. They're not going to say boo about it. The only time they ever announce injuries or if surgery is needed, which in this case it is not, which is obviously a great sign for the Florida Panthers. And again, he's on long-term injury reserve. He's going to, unless somebody else that has a big salary goes on it long-term injury reserve. The Panthers are over the salary cap. Without that money, he's not playing until the playoffs. So There's no reason to update or anything else. But we'll see him sooner than later, and we'll figure out what's up.
What'd you think of that Toronto game?
Not impressed. That was one of those games where it was obvious that Toronto really, 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 really needed that game, and the Panthers didn't. Toronto and the Florida Panthers are in complete opposites right now, as the Panthers right now have a very comfortable lead in the Atlantic Division. I believe they're 6 points up right now. That would have been 8. Sometimes it's hard to fake that intensity. And I think that Toronto really after losing Saturday night in Montreal, they had to get at least a point out of Florida. And they did. They got both points. They could, so that was a 4-point game, 4-point swing for them. So that was a well done by Toronto for Florida. I think it's excusable at this point. And I don't want anybody to think I'm a homer at this point of the season. When the
No,
when the Miami Heat
yeah,
had LeBron and Wade, and they lost to Atlanta on a
yeah.
Sunday night, nobody said boo because they were 18 games in front of it. Same thing here.
That's what I wonder also with these guys, that are they a little bored, because this is God,
How can you not be?
this is such a dominant offense, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. I mean, like this is an offense, like when they want to pressure you, they will score, bro.
Yeah.
They will score because they just have so many people coming at you. And I think that when I'm watching that Toronto game, it's like that oomph on offense wasn't there that night. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And then obviously it then trickles down to the defense. You know what I mean? How would you grade Knight overall throughout this stretch here that he's played a lot of games?
I think he's been fine. I think he's been let down a lot. I think Florida's defensive play needs to dial it up a notch. It hasn't been very good. I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, Knight." Hard to blame Knight for any of those goals the other night in Toronto. I know that there were maybe one that he gave up. He gave
Yeah,
up
I was
4
gonna say
goals,
one.
but
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of being hung out to dry kind of stuff there. This is great experience for Spencer Knight. That's his first game playing in Toronto in front of in 20,000 fans in Toronto in the hockey center of the universe. So that's great experience. I think he's been fine. You're not going to hear me complain about the goaltending play right now. Florida's defense right now definitely needs some work. You could tell that they're missing Aaron Ekblad. You can tell they're working in some new guys and things of that sort, guys in new positions than they were. You can see that, and that'll come with time. That's the beauty of this time of year for them, by the way.
Yeah, no, exactly, because they have built so much,
Equity.
equity at this
Yeah.
point that you can kind of coast a little bit. You can kind of take a night off, and it's not. Man, this is a grind, dude. I mean, to 82 hockey games
Yeah.
is a whole different world than 82 basketball games, bro. I just say it's
Especially when you know where you're at. If
not
you're
even close.
fighting for position and that's a different deal. But I've just noticed ever since the trade deadline ended, there's kind of been maybe some of the air's let out of the balloon.
Yeah.
Deadlines on Monday. Everybody's excited because here comes Claude Giroux. Tuesday, oh, we got, all right, let's go. And then, by Friday, you're like, we got another one of these. So, especially when you look at the Panthers schedule. Oh my gosh. Oh,
yeah. Walk us through tonight. What are we expecting against the Canadians?
yeah, you've got a last place Montreal team. Next up, you've got a Chicago Blackhawks team that's been out since Thanksgiving. Then you go to Buffalo; they've been out since Thanksgiving. So Florida, of their 17 games, I believe only 5 or 6 are against teams that are even in the playoff consideration. So you've got to deal with that malaise, because the Panthers know Montreal's not any good. They know Chicago's not any good. They know Buffalo's not any good. So again, when you talk about boredom, sometimes that happens.
Has Brunette told you how he has to motivate these guys for this kind of stretch here to kind of finish strong? Because obviously you don't want to. I don't even think they're going to lose their edge, but I guess it's kind of a cliche that you would think.
I think if you're the Panthers, you're happy about the schedule at the end of the year. You've got Tampa. Your last home game of the year is Tampa, and then you go to Canada. And even though you're playing the Montreals, you've got a Boston game in there. The last 3, 4, 5 games of the year, you can set your focus a little bit. You don't want to be. Yeah, you don't. We've seen, how many times have we seen it? These teams that coast into the playoffs definitely lose their edge. But I think with the Panthers, they're trying to win this division. They're still playing for something. But again, they've got a nice, comfortable lead. They'd like to keep that, and I think that they've got the schedule indeed to do it.
All right, what do you got going on Florida Hockey Now? Going on right now.
Florida Hockey Now. We've got a story coming up here in the afternoon to preview tonight's game. The Panthers are playing Montreal. Listen, is Montreal one of the first? I think the first team to be eliminated from playoff consideration. They gave the Panthers all they could handle last Thursday night. So these games are still fun. You've got players obviously playing for jobs. These games can be intense. The Florida Panthers have to know that, or they could find themselves down 2-3-0 to a team, and you'd be like, "What the heck just happened?" So The NHL is still very competitive, and the Panthers can't be caught napping. That's for sure.
By the way, it's a joke to subscribe to Florida Hockey Now. I think I pay like $3 a month or something stupid like that.
Listen, I pay more for coffee
for like 80 articles a month.
Yeah.
So it's great. But one of the cool things you do on Florida Hockey Now, and explain to folks that in every game you have kind of that article where it breaks down the betting angle of it. So why? Because people I like to make crypto investments. Well, some people like to make sports investments.
Sure.
And Florida Hockey Now
their sports
is an assist in those sports investments. Walk them through that, man.
Oh yeah, go to Florida the hockeynow.com right now. You can check out the lineups for tonight's game, but also the lines, baby, the odds. Who's favored in this one? Little hint there, Big O. The Panthers are big favorites tonight against Montreal. I'll tell you what, I didn't know this was going to turn into a gambling segment, but how is the over-under every night for the Panthers at home 6.5? Are these bookies not paying any attention?
Oh,
these home games for the Panthers, sometimes they've had 6 goals on their own by the second period. So.
Yeah. So take the over every single time.
You got to take the over when they're home.
Yes, exactly.
But think by now they'd be at 7.5. Nope, still 6.5 over/under. So
on the total, but on betting on a favorite. Oh, dude, hockey screws you over with that empty netter, man.
And the Panthers are like minus 420 or something. So
yeah,
it's 420 somewhere, baby.
It's 420 somewhere. So make the bet and then do something else on 420.
Yeah, free country.
And complete the perfecta, as they say. There you go. And then complete the trifecta. Go to FloridaHockeyNow.com and subscribe and support George and keep up with your Panthers, dude. He does a great job of covering them. Thank you, George. Appreciate you. My brother, follow him on Twitter also at George Richards. Enjoy the Okie, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Be good.
You got it. There you go. George Richards locking it down, Panther fans.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.